Well, Doctor Who, you somehow managed it. A year ago, we were all lamenting the disaster that was Star Wars: The Last Jedi, largely in shock over how the biggest sci-fi franchise in history had been reduced to this. Now here we are, a year later, and in conducting an autopsy of our formerly favored TV show of a man that travels through time in a police box, it becomes apparent that we are watching history repeat itself. I'm not the first one to bring this up, but it's clear that Doctor Who Series 11 has become The Last Jedi. Prior to Series 11 and The Last Jedi, these two franchises were amongst the most beloved and respected pieces of fiction in modern history. The names Star Wars and Doctor Who almost always garnered instant respect. While Star Wars was obviously bigger than Doctor Who, they were equally ingrained in our collective consciousness. Almost everyone knew who Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, or the Doctor was. Hearing the name Star Wars evoked happy childhood memories of the original trilogy, and the same thing was true for Doctor Who. For older fans, it was the classic series. For newer fans, it was the David Tennant or Matt Smith years. But then something happened to both franchises, and the root causes were almost identical, and so was the end result. The root cause outgrew from the toxic, regressive, sexist, and racist mentality that became the far left's modus operandi, which somehow got control of many elements of society, including entertainment, it seems. They seek to destroy the past, including long-standing works of fiction that meant a lot to many people. Both franchises had been dormant for many years, and when both came back, they firmly re-entrenched themselves in popular culture. Many fans believe that both franchises had left the public consciousness on what could have been better terms. This I only partially agree with. With Doctor Who, you had the Sylvester McCoy years. While I agree that Season 24 was Doctor Who's low point prior to Series 11, Season 26 was absolutely brilliant, and is, to this day, one of the best things that Doctor Who ever gave us. We also had the 1996 TV movie, which, despite not being very good, gave us one of the best Doctors in Paul McGann. Star Wars had the prequels, and while Episodes 1 and 2 were pretty bad, Episode 3 is my second favorite Star Wars movie after The Empire Strikes Back. The golden years of Doctor Who will probably be remembered slightly more favorably because everything up to and including Series 10 is completely separate from Series 11 and, outside of the name, is not the same show. Unfortunately for Star Wars, its comeback, The Force Awakens, set up The Last Jedi, but we have Rogue One, which I like more and more with each viewing. Series 1 through 8 of Doctor Who also seem to be much stronger now when you compare it to the dumpster fire known as Series 11. For both Doctor Who and The Last Jedi, the ideological infestation began before Series 11 and The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens introduced Rey, a Mary Sue character of little to no merit, development, or personality, obviously the result of extreme third-wave feminist ideology. Doctor Who did the same thing with Series 9 and 10. Clara, which was a completely different character for each of her 3 series, seemed to be positioned as the Doctor's equal in Series 9. Sorry, Moffat, but no human could be the equal of the Doctor. In Series 10, we had Bill, who only seemed to be there to continually remind us of her sexuality. There is also a similarity in who held ultimate control of both franchises. Kathleen Kennedy has never had any problems hiding her extreme third-wave feminist leanings, and the BBC has a policy in writing that aims to practically remove straight white males from its programming. Then we have the hiring of Rian Johnson for Star Wars and Chris Chibnall for Doctor Who, both ideologues of minimal writing talents. They both sought to completely dismantle both franchises. In both cases, story and mythology took a distant second to ideological messaging. Actually, mythology seems to have been thrown right out the window. Quality went down the toilet for both franchises. The Last Jedi might be the worst big-budget movie ever unleashed on an unsuspecting public. So many plot holes, and it completely threw away everything set up in The Force Awakens, with the exception of Mary Sue Rey, which went into overdrive. It gave us pointless things like the wasted 30 minutes of my life on Canto Bight. It also gave us a purple-haired feminist and whatever the hell Rose is supposed to be. Doctor Who gave us crap like Arachnids in the UK, which was nothing more than a propaganda piece against Americans, or It Takes You Away, which was a propaganda piece against single fathers. The 11 episodes that Chibnall has given us are easily the worst in Doctor Who history. If I made a video on the 10 worst Doctor Who episodes, I would have to limit Series 11 to 1 episode, otherwise it would take up all 10 slots. Both Series 11 and The Last Jedi look good if you focus only on basic numbers, but you have to look deeper. Yes, The Last Jedi made $1.3 billion, but it was expected to match The Force Awakens' $2 billion. Yes, Series 11 and The Woman Who Fell to Earth were higher than the Capaldi era, but there was a steady downward trend as people started to switch off. What's more telling is how audiences have reacted to both. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is a disaster for both franchises, and mark a stark contrast to the critics' score. Gee, I wonder why that is. Beyond that, just do a quick search of comments on YouTube or articles relating to both, and it's clear that everyone hates what has become of both franchises. We also need to look at how Lucasfilm and the Doctor Who production team have responded to criticisms. Both have been hostile towards their fan bases, also known as their customers. Rian Johnson responded by calling anybody that doesn't like The Last Jedi man-babies or misogynists, and Jodie Whittaker has been outright hostile towards long-term Doctor Who fans. She accused the classic series of doing nothing more than celebrating the white male gaze, and every interview she has given seeks to diminish straight white males. Any competent franchise would have made it clear, yes, we screwed up, but we'll do better next time, but not these two. Star Wars Day of Reckoning was Solo, which managed to lose an estimated $200 million. One could say that Doctor Who's Day of Reckoning was the New Year's Day special, but I don't think so. While compared to all other specials, this one was a disaster. This is only the beginning. The Day of Reckoning for Chibnall and Whittaker will be Series 12. Holding it off until 2020 is not going to make things any better. We're now several weeks removed from Series 11, and people are now fully realizing what they just watched, and what has happened to Doctor Who. Moreover, I'd say it's pretty clear that Chibs and Whittaker are going to double down on everything for Series 12. Trust me, it's going to be a catastrophe of epic proportions. There is a ray of light for both franchises. Doctor Who still has secondary outlets like Big Finish, and while woke talking points have started working their way into some of the audios, they still focus on quality stories. Moreover, unlike the televised series, Big Finish can't afford to alienate its audience, so there's definitely hope there. Star Wars has the revived Clone Wars series, and let's hope to hell they don't turn this into a woke fest as well. I have faith in Dave Filoni that this won't happen. In short, what we've learned here is the direction that most long-term sci-fi franchises seem to be taking is a sure road to failure. These are not the only ones. What has happened to the Star Trek franchise also parallels what has happened to Star Wars and Doctor Who, and it looks like the Terminator franchise is also set to finish itself off. At least we have shows like The Expanse and The Orville, and it's imperative that we support these series to send a strong message to the entertainment industry. The message is, we're tired of this crap. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.